Okay, okay. That's nice. I see Naki as well. Those that are not speaking, kindly mute your microphones for me. Naki, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Naki. I'm 16 years of age and I'm in my first year in senior high school.
Okay, and you're joining us from where?
Accra, Ghana.
Okay, Desmond, do we have any other participants? I'm only seeing these on my screen. I hope I'm seeing everyone.
Okay, so what we can do is as we go on, you can invite from the attendees if any of our participants has arrived, and they can just raise their hands and then our admin will add them. At this point in time, I think your panelists, okay, I've seen one more, but you can go ahead. I'm adding David.
Okay, thank you. So for the panelists that are joining, if you join, just raise your hands so that we can admit you. David, do you want to unmute yourself and then introduce yourself? Then we can go straight into the conversation.
Okay, I'm David.
How old are you?
12 years.
Where are you joining us from?
Home.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Home.
Home? Where is home? Are you in Accra, Ghana?
Home.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the Volta region of Ghana. Okay. Okay, so David is joining us from the Volta region. Oh, wow, that's nice. So like I said, we have people from all walks of life joining us across Africa. I'm very excited. More of them will be joining. But let's go straight into our conversation this afternoon. And I'm going to start with you, Ofure. You definitely use the internet, right? I just want you to briefly share with us your experience, what your experience online has been like. And like we said, we really want to hear from you children, everything as much as possible. That's why we are not showing your faces. So be very truthful and honest with us as much as possible, but share with us everything, good, bad, and the ones we don't even want to talk about. Please tell us, what has your experience been like online? Ofure, yeah.
I think generally it's been pretty good. The things I mostly use online is YouTube, Instagram, and like just Google searching things. So yeah, generally I don't find myself like necessarily endangering myself online. On Instagram, like my account isn't set to private, so anyone can follow me, but generally I only have the only posts I put are things that I don't mind everyone seeing, so I don't think I have any negative evidence. And yeah, I think in general I feel very comfortable online, and I don't feel like I've ever really been in danger in terms of privacy.
Beyond, thank you. Beyond privacy. So what do you really use the internet? You mentioned that your settings, does it mean that you have a channel that you host on YouTube and your settings are set to private? Is that what it means?
Oh, so for YouTube, I only use it as a viewer. So I don't have a channel, meaning I don't post videos and people don't know anything about me online on YouTube. As for Instagram, I do post pictures, and people can, anyone essentially, if they know the name of my account, they'll be able to see my picture or follow my page.
But are you public on Instagram?
Yes.
You are, and you haven't experienced any form of bullying, people saying things that you really don't want to hear?
No, generally not. Like the only thing on Instagram that I received was sometimes like messages from bots, which are like accounts that aren't run by people, but like that try to get you to like interact with them to kind of
Okay, thank you.
To tags and stuff.
Thank you. That's quite interesting to know. Naki, I'm coming to you now. Do you want to share with us what your experience online has been like?
Yes, sure. Actually, I am online a lot. I communicate with friends, watch YouTube videos, most of the time follow the trends. Maybe there's some DIY crafts, or just to keep myself busy. And I have been actually, I've had unpleasant encounters being online before. I've been threatened online before. Yes. So
what kind of threats are we looking at? David, can you mute yourself until I come to you, please?
It was a death threat, actually.
It was what? A death? Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That sounds very scary. And what did you do about it?
Well, actually, I kept my cool. I didn't panic. I gave it to my dad. He did some search, did some blocking here and there. We went through the settings, and then we were able to catch the culprit. And from then on, I've been very particular about what I post, what I do online, my information out there. So that's
Wow. We'll come back to you. I just want to move to Team A. I'll start with Samuela since she's the only lady there, and I'm very biased towards the women. So Samuela, come closer to the microphone. Can you share with us what your experience online has been like?
online has been normal.
What's normal? Samuela, can you hear me? Samuela. Team A, I seem to have lost you. Okay, I'll come back to you. David, you are all the way in Ho. What have your online experience been like? Can you quickly share it with us?
Yeah, it's been okay, but one time my account was hacked before.
Your account was hacked?
Yeah.
Wow. And what did you do about it?
I tried to retrieve it, but I couldn't. So I created a new one and blocked people who asked like for my pictures and send me malam those things.
So they were sending you what? Wow, that's quite
like nowadays I block people who ask for my pictures and send me like I am the great malam, send 500 Ghana cedis and receive instant miracles.
Sorry, David, I lost you.
I said like I block people who ask for my pictures and send me like Malam posts like I'm the great
So
Malam.
which
Send
platforms are
500.
you on?
Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram,
How old are
and
you
YouTube.
again? Sorry. How old are you again?
12.
You are 12 and you are on Facebook. And daddy gave you
Yeah.
access to Facebook.
Yes.
Oh, it seems like we lost Teki a bit. You want to?
David.
Yeah.
Okay,
Madam.
I think, right. So we've had your experience. We'll come back to you on that because there's a lot of issues you've raised in that. So we'll take care of that at the right time. Do we have people in Team A there now, ready to connect? Team A.
I think we had Sakani also joining us late, so maybe she can introduce herself and you can start with her.
Hello. Hi. I'm Sakane. I'm 19. I'm currently in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes. Sakane, we can hear you.
Sakane, we can hear you. Okay, Hector, take over then.
Yes, Sakane, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. So my experience with the internet, I'm on the internet quite a lot. Entertainment, social media. I use YouTube, like I'm sure everyone else, quite a bit. And then I'm on Instagram, not so much Facebook. I use WhatsApp every day. And then also I use the internet a lot for promoting my art. I make music, so I upload a lot of things to the internet, usually under a different persona, but yeah, still I upload my own stuff, my own pictures. And I can't say I've ever had a bad experience online. I know many people who have had issues, or people messaging them or accounts hacked. But my experience with the internet has not been terrible. I guess my critique on these social media networks and entertainment networks is more on the lines of me as a user. I don't know how much they know about me and my usage. I'm sure they know more about me or like my online identity than I do. And I guess that's the only kind of wary part of the internet that I really feel.
Oh. Do you use the internet for email? And
yeah.
if you do, have you received any emails around somebody saying you've won a lottery, you've won this prize, and or maybe an email from a courier company saying that you've got a parcel? Have you encountered such emails before?
Yeah, I have emails, not as much, maybe a while ago, but now most of those things get sent to like a spam folder. But definitely through just like bots on Instagram, on Facebook, you get a lot of those. So yeah, I've definitely seen those.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. I I was rudely kicked off by technology. We can't trust it all like that after all, you know. It's the only thing that is not guaranteed here. Did team, I want to go back to team A. Are you back online?
Yes, please.
Okay, Samuela, so tell us about your online experience.
Please, my name is Queen Lee, and I'm just joining them.
Okay, so now I have Winnie. How old are you? 12.
It's Queen
Okay.
Lee. Queen Lee.
Queenly, like a queen.
I'm
Okay.
17 years old.
Okay,
Actually.
okay. Thank you, Queenly. All right. So, Samuela, can you please share with us what your experience has been like online? You were speaking, but then we lost you halfway.
Should I ask you to repeat the question? Please,
so I'm trying to speak. Should I? Okay, so I wanted to ask what your experience has been like online. Do you use the internet and?
Yeah, I mostly use WhatsApp and Facebook more because I'm not really familiar with Instagram and the others. And
okay.
I don't have any problem with using the WhatsApp because people on my WhatsApp contacts are those I really know, so I don't have problem with them. But on Facebook, I just accept anybody I see. I just look at your profile picture, and then I go through. I just want to see if you have a nice picture or something, and then see if I have mutual friends, and then I accept it. But I end up choosing the wrong friends, and then they start asking me for certain things that are not nice. And
like
then,
what?
like nude pictures.
Wow.
Yes, and then this is mostly those Indian people.
And you are how old?
17 years old, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hand over to Queenly so that Queenly will also share with us her experience online? What do you do online? Have you had any good experiences? Have you had any bad ones? And what are they?
Please, this is actually Queenie speaking.
This is who? Okay, go ahead.
I was the one who spoke earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then hand over to the next person because I can't see anything, so I don't know who's speaking. So I want all of you there to share your experiences. So I think once you are done, you can hand over to the next person and then they can introduce themselves. And
Okay, I'm Samuela.
okay, Samuela, go ahead.
Please, on Facebook, when some people send you messages, they don't mind them. They think you are showing up yourself and doing some certain things. So I don't answer them. So they think like I'm too knowing somehow.
Okay, but you are on Facebook.
Yeah.
Samuela, remind me of your age again.
15.
Oh, you are 16. Okay, and you're on Facebook. Are you on Facebook only or you're on other platforms as well?
I'm on WhatsApp and Instagram.
Oh, you're on WhatsApp and Instagram as well. And your experiences on all those other platforms have been the same?
No.
Okay, so tell us how for instance, what do you find your experience like on Instagram? What do you find your experience like on WhatsApp?
Instagram, I don't go there often.
Okay, and then WhatsApp?
WhatsApp is normal.
Who do you connect with on WhatsApp?
My friends.
Your friends. Okay, so these are people you know.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hand over to Gabriel? Team A. Okay, I seem to be losing you. I'll come back to you whenever you are ready, Team A. Just prompt us. Just raise your hand when you have a more stable network. Hector, you've heard what their initial experience have been like online. What do you make of all the things that they are telling us?
So thank you. So basically, all that they've mentioned or they've spoken about would fall under having contact with undesirable people. So in terms of predators, in terms of cyber bullies, in terms of what people wanting to email them with juicy offers so that they click on it and then it has other knock-on effects. It's not only limited to the young ones. These are what experiences from young ones, but then it extends also to the wider populace that use the internet. In a way, it affects if you decide to sort of like let the conversation go further. That's when it has a negative impact on you. So I think some of them mentioned they encountering cyber bullies.
Yes.
This is a key issue that needs to be taken care of on the internet. In some jurisdictions, there are laws that reprimand cyberbullying, but mostly in Africa, we do not have. Most countries do not have such laws that reprimand people who sort of like just go onto somebody's timeline and just decide to either insult them based on how they look, based on what they've said, based on where they come from, and then other things. So all that you've mentioned are things that in a wider perspective are actions going on which should be checked. Yeah.
I just want to come to you.
Oh, I think we lost Teki again. So
Maybe I should continue. So and also going on the other part of this also has to do with what sort of content that the children get access to, get exposed to. So because they are on the internet and they are using their emails, they are on Facebook, they are on Instagram, they sort of like get access to certain content such as sexual material, violent material, things that should not be seen by their age group. And this is because on the internet, there is not so much control or not so much, there's not so much control of how things are placed on the internet. And because there's not enough guidance or enough protection, enough control of how the young ones have access to these materials, they are then exposed to it. You wouldn't want young ones to have access to games. This especially goes for the boys. Games that show graphic material, that has to do with people having to shoot at each other, people having to decapitate each other, and all that. That puts or brings a negative mindset into them. It makes them think that that is normal, that is life as it is. But then, in a lot of ways, you didn't want your child to be exposed to that at an early age. He might now try to enact that in real life. So it is important that with the controls on the internet, generally, even beyond just having handed them the device, there needs to be an effort made to generally control what goes onto the internet. Yeah.
Thank you, Hector. Sorry, my connectivity today is very, very bad. Desmond, I would let you hold the fort for a while. If I drop off again, I promise to be mute for the rest of the conversation, because this connectivity is not really helping me at all. I just want to come back to you. You've had what they are so far telling us. What are your views about what we've heard so far?
Right. Yes, thank you and good evening to our viewers, participants, audience. Yes, so from what has been said so far, a number of them with Naki was lucky to have a father who understands operations of technology and a bit of security to stand in the gap for her, assuming she's by herself like any ordinary child out there. You can imagine what would have happened. So it brings to the fore the risk pertaining to children's use of the digital space. And when I say that, what am I talking about? In one breath, the child or the young person becomes the recipient of inappropriate content. So like Hector mentioned earlier, it's not like they go after the content, but the content just come at them. They stumble upon it. So that is one aspect of risk that we will have to be taken into consideration as practitioners, as providers, and all of that. So when it happens, what would a child do under such circumstance? Obviously, with the right skills and tools available, they should be able to, like last week we were saying, mute, block, unfriend, and all of that. Those options are there if you should encounter a situation like that. The other aspect of risk which young people pose to themselves has to do with they becoming participants. So becoming participants is because they are in the space, they make contact with strangers. Like somebody said, she only looks up for people who are mutual friends to her, and look at photos and connect with them. So that is a risky behavior in itself. So sometimes you do that and you end up being grouped or bullied and all of that. You go offline, yet the people are following you just because you have established contact with them. So you are taking advantage of. So again, it's important that they know the space where they are or the platform they are engaging with is for them to take charge. And what does that require? Appropriate skills, appropriate level of literacy in order for them to do that. There has been instances where the child becomes also an actor in a risky behavior. Being an actor in this regard will be more like David's experience. He's there. he's not uploading anything inappropriate, but he is there illegally. you are on Facebook at the age of 12. The age limit for Facebook is 13. So if you are below 13 and you are on Facebook, obviously you'll be having content which is not appropriate for your age. You might end up sharing things that you shouldn't be sharing, and all those other things come with their own repercussions. So I would say that for young people, we have issues there for them, but then it's important we're hearing from them now, and it kind of confirms that they are actors themselves, they are recipients in the space doing other things. They are participants in one form of risky behavior or another. And the biggest one now is signing contracts. You know, some of the platforms have payment options available, and most of the children do not understand the terms and conditions before signing up. So in that case, you don't understand terms and conditions. You don't understand.
Wait, I want the children to tell me whether they understand the terms and conditions or not. Please don't put words in their mouth.
Okay, I'm not putting words in their mouth, but then I'm being empathic here. You know, Teki, some of the terms and conditions are so tiny that it's even difficult for me to read.
Let the children tell us that they can't read it, or they read it, or they don't understand.
So maybe we should ask them if they know what.
Yeah, exactly. Because
then I can continue.
Come down to touch on those issues, you know. So, but Desmond, let's just briefly hear from you on what we've heard so far. You know, in terms of how they use, how they engage online, and the kind of activities they engage in, the risks that they have, and how they've been able to navigate it. Just let me hear your views around it as well.
Okay, so a few things run in between most of the conversations from our child panelists. The first one is knowledge. At least there is some partial understanding of these platforms. At least they know the platforms are meant for connectivity. Some are able to even tell you what they do there, whether it's for streaming. You know, I'm hearing short-term terms like DIY or DIY, do it yourself, which actually tells you at least you are dealing with a generation who, for the greater part of it, understand partly what they are up for. There's also a little bit of savviness. I've forgotten the speaker who mentioned that, but at least he's very much aware of the concept of privacy, even if it is in the most trivial manner, because he still appreciates the fact that, you know, the information that he's holding is being held about him on those platforms. He can actually turn them off, make sure people are not seeing them. So these are actually very good signs from it. I thought I was going to hear the gloomy, but I think it's encouraging to know that in as much as they've had some challenges, they are also aware of these platforms in their times. Hector mentioned a number of the things that are picked from the conversation. So bullying, harassment. I actually noticed intrusion because someone said his account has been hacked before, and yes, and that tells you that the security space is no respecter of persons. The hackers don't care. If the account is an account they want, they will go for it. And in as much as it creates some knowledge sharing experience for them, it's also scary because for me as a practitioner, gaining access to accounts means a lot to a hacker than just throwing you out. It can actually lead to impersonation. You know, these accounts can be used in your name to commit crimes, and that can have repercussions not only on the child, because just in case our audience may not know, the actions of your ward or your child can actually be visited on you when they are not of age to take up those responsibilities. So in as much as we put them online, as much as they get online themselves, it is also important to actually guide and watch what they do. And in that aspect, I'm looking at empowering them, and not necessarily policing them, empowering them and giving them the right guidance. Another thing that I also realized has been taken for granted was age limitation. Is either there's no education at all, or partial education, or probably mere stubbornness, because some of the platforms and the users who are on, they should not be there at all. It's like entering a cinema of an X-rated movie, clearly seeing on the gate that is 18 plus, yet you walk in, sit down, and then the streaming house is blamed for allowing you in. I mean, that kind of thing. And then another thing I also saw was the concept of familiarity. There are few of the speakers were okay if they can at least connect to the account that is connecting to them. There's a bit of danger there. We have to find a way of teaching the concept of validation. So one of the strategies I was using at home for my wards was you only have to add family and you have to add your classmates. Those were the first key validation points that I passed on. You can't add a stranger. You can't assume he looks nice, so he will be nice. Groomers come in all forms of stages. Hackers comes in all forms of looks. You would not even know Hector with all his smiles, has some skills that
and I think for me, even the biggest danger is that, I believe, was it Samuela or Quindy that was saying that the Indians or somebody looks like an Indian.
Yes.
People somebody can take my image and use it.
So
it may not necessarily be me. And I thought that was something that they should all be, at least those that are participating should be very much savvy on. And like I would touched on it, we really they need some level of skills and education to be able to interact online. Team A, are you stable now? I really I'm dying to hear from Team A, but it looks like, are you stable? Get closer to your microphones.
Yes, please. We are ready.
Okay, so just a quick one. Gabriel and Emmanuel, right? What platforms do you use online?
Yes, I'm not using phone.
Gabriel, you don't use a phone, but have you been on Instagram? You've been on the internet before?
No.
You've never been online?
No.
How old are you again, Gabriel?
13.
You are 13. So you haven't used WhatsApp before?
No.
Okay. It's quite interesting to also have children that have not, and like I mentioned to you, we tried as much as possible to get children on a broad spectrum with different backgrounds. So it's quite interesting to see that.
If you allow me from this, and I'd like to know from the young chap, yes, Gabriel, in as much as he's not using any of these platforms, which it could be appreciable or not, I want to understand from him if he even knows what these platforms do. Like, for instance, WhatsApp. Is he aware of WhatsApp, what WhatsApp does? Is he aware of Facebook and what is done on Facebook? I just want to know his knowledge about that.
Gabriel. Did you hear our question?
Please, I don't know anything about it.
You don't know anything about it. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, that's it.
That's fine. So let me move to Emmanuel. What about you? Are you on any online platform? Do you use the internet? Do you know anything about it?
I don't use WhatsApp.
You don't use WhatsApp, but what do you use?
Facebook.
You use Facebook. How old are you?
12 years.
You are 12. You use Facebook. And then what else do you use?
Nothing.
Nothing else. Only Facebook. Okay.
Take,
When
you have
were...
you have a hand up. You have a hand up in the attendees. Maybe you want to find out what contribution is coming.
Okay. Do you want to elevate them? I can't seem to see. Okay, I have to go to the full attendee list. Desmond, if you can see them, you may elevate them. Just draw my attention. I'm not seeing any hands here. I see chats, but not hands.
Okay, initially I saw Femi's hand up, so.
Okay, Femi, will just give us a few minutes. We can elevate you to us, and then I just want to understand. So, Emmanuel, you're on Facebook. How did you get on Facebook? What did you sign up to? Did you read what we call terms and conditions? How did you get on Facebook?
I followed the application.
You followed, sorry, yeah, please speak closer to the microphone, okay?
I followed the application.
I can't seem to hear you, please. Sorry, what did you say? You said you followed Facebook.
The application.
You followed the application. So how did you, when you downloaded, what did it ask you to do before you downloaded? Because I'm sure you wrote your name, you may have added pictures, but before you got to that place, were there some questions that you had to answer? Did you agree to do certain things or not to do certain things? Or when you saw those things, you just ignored until it's accepted? Because I know when you are setting up, Facebook will ask you for your name, it will ask your age and a few other things. Did you do that?
Yeah.
You did that? So when Facebook asked you how old you were, what did you put there?
7 years old.
You put what? 17 years old.
27.
27.
Okay, you put 27 years old, but your real age is okay. All right. Okay, thank you very much. And that's how you got to be on Facebook. Those who are there with you that are laughing, tell them to get closer. Quinley, Samuela, and at least they are older, so they will tell us. But when did you join Facebook? Are you all on Facebook?
Yes, please.
When did you join Facebook? Apart from Gabriel.
I think 4 years ago.
4 years ago, you were how old? Are you sure? You also joined when you were 12?
No.
Or 10? You
13.
were how old? Are you sure you were 13 when you joined? And what age did you put there when Facebook asked you how old you were?
I joined when I was 13, so I just said 13.
Okay. And did you read the terms and conditions and understood it?
No.
You didn't read the terms. So when you were asked, what did you just do? You just accepted?
Because I wanted to be on Facebook, so I thought accepting anything would just make me be on that platform.
Wow. Who am I speaking? Is it Quinley or Samuela that's speaking? Quinley.
It's Quinley.
It's Quinley. Okay. What about Samuela?
I joined at the age of 13 years old.
You also joined at 13?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you read the terms and conditions?
No.
You didn't?
Yes.
So how did you accept the terms and conditions? You just accepted. Like Quinley also just wanted to be on Facebook.
Yes.
Okay. As for Gabriel, he's telling us, but I have to let Uncle Desmond do some investigation on Gabriel because I don't believe he has a. He's telling us he's not online, you know, but I know very well he's going online using somebody else's phone and seeing what they are seeing there. So we'll come to Gabriel shortly. Naki, you know, you are on a number of platforms. When did you join these platforms? And did you go through any of the terms and conditions? Did you understand it?
So far as I remember, I joined Snapchat when I was 15. So yes, and I'm not on Facebook, and I know WhatsApp doesn't have any age restrictions. So far as I know, I just joined. And yeah, so WhatsApp and Instagram. I also joined Instagram when I was 15. But I
Okay.
remember I had some Facebook accounts, and as for that one, I didn't even use any age. I just used any age.
You don't
27,
remember
28, I don't remember. I just used any age and accepted the
to get
policy.
in. To
As
get in.
yes, as Auntie always said, we rely on okay. Me too, I rely on okay. So I just used okay there. Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. What about the terms and conditions?
I don't read
You,
them actually.
you
I
don't
don't
read them at all, or you read and
at,
you don't understand.
no at all. I don't read them at all.
Is it something that if you can read and understand, is it something that if it's there, you would read at all, or you probably may skip it because you just want to engage online and that's your focus, so you wouldn't want to, you know, be bothered with any terms and conditions?
I would read, but personally, most of the policies there are not quite clear. So sometimes they are there, but when you even take something like the cookie policy, somebody will be like, cookie policy, oh, what at all is cookie doing there? And just press okay just to get in. So I think the policies there should be clearer because some of us just don't get it.
Okay, all right, very well.
Cheki, you're muted.
David, are you there?
Yes.
David, so how did you manage to get on Facebook at the age of 12? Did you read the terms and conditions? You didn't. But what age did you put there when you were signing up?
20.
20. Oh, wow. Not even 17, 20 years. Okay. And, but you didn't read the terms and conditions. Were your parents aware that you were getting on Facebook?
Yeah, I told them when I created the account.
You told them after you created the account. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I just want to come to you, Ofure. What about you? I know you are older than most of the children here. When did you first go online? Did you read any terms and conditions? Or you, like all the other children, you were eager to get on very early on, so you just gave them the message that they needed to hear to give you access to these platforms? Please share a bit more about that. And then you can throw more lights on what you think of terms and conditions. One, do you even read them at all? You know?
So I was, I think, 8 years old when I first had an account on Facebook. But and of course, as an 8-year-old, I didn't really know what the conditions were. And so obviously I just put in an age where that like would allow me to have the account created. But I think Facebook to me is the one thing online that I really don't like, because I don't use my Facebook account anymore, and I've unfriended all my friends. But you can't, with Facebook, you actually can't delete your account. And I've also heard stories that even if you don't have an account, Facebook kind of makes a shadow account of you. So it's kind of following you and what you do online. So I really don't like Facebook. But nowadays, like with websites like that ask for cookies, I also don't like those. I tend to always try and click on only the necessary cookies. And sometimes some websites, they don't allow you to do that, and I get frustrated sometimes, and I just quit them, because I don't like how it forces you to have cookies enabled. And terms and conditions, generally, no. Those I don't think anyone really reads terms and conditions. They're very long, and they're designed so that people don't understand them. And I think, however, I have a general idea of some of them, because I remember at some point there was a scandal that happened, I think to do with Facebook, and then all social media was updating their terms and conditions, and I was asking people, oh, is it okay for us to have your data? I think it was specifically to do with ads, because they would take your data and look at what you're looking at, what you're liking, and then just send personalized ads. And they used to do that without asking. So now a lot of platforms ask, but other than that, I don't know much of what else goes on in terms and conditions.
Thank you very much. Awo, I'm coming back to you because you move this conversation into terms and conditions, and those were one of the things that clearly, of all the children we are listening to, it's very clear that nobody is reading. I'm sure even we are not reading terms and conditions. And yet, even for those that are at the right age and are signing up to these platforms, they're not reading the terms and conditions. It looks as if children are providing information that they know the platform needs to be able to access and use these platforms. What do you make of it? In order to make children safe online, would you say that we really need to, there's a lot of talk about, standards for children, terms and conditions that are specific, that children can understand, for instance, which is a requirement of the GDPR, to make sure that if you're building a platform for children, children can understand and interact with the conditions for that. What do you make of all this, and how do we create a safer environment for the children to interact online?
Right. So back to the earlier issues I was speaking to. Essentially, it's important for us to start the discussion from the basics. Somebody says he came online at 8, and he's heard all manner of stories, some correct, some not, yes, but all of that, in as much as we don't want to be mentioning names. The thing is, they are anxious to get online. So the adventure in them as young people has to be taken into consideration when designing platforms. But then how many of the providers will have that patience to do that? So for me, that is where it becomes eminent for parents, teachers, and everybody around the young person to start talking about safety and what is safer space when it comes to children. Is also something we need to define, and define it so well that providers could provide services that are within that. And a safer space when it comes to a young person is, one, the terms and conditions clear enough and at their level of understanding. Again, how much you are a privacy person, how much of their information is being taken, what are they being used for? I mean, all of that should be unpacked in such a way that they understand it themselves. And again, the age gating. So somebody says she doesn't even know there's age limit for WhatsApp. So WhatsApp age limit is 16. So if you're on WhatsApp before 16, you are also illegal. And it's been established here that all of you, majority of you are on Facebook illegally. And somebody says he's not online, he's 12 years or 13, he's not using any platform. But I want to ask, does he use the Google Classroom or Zoom link for his classes during the lockdown? Or he's not used anything at all? I want to believe that his understanding of online is quite different from the real concept of being online. Sometimes he's not there, he's not posted anything by himself, but then maybe an auntie might have posted a photo of him or her. The mother might have been excited and posted his birthday wish with a photo and stuff like that. So we can't wish that away. So in a nutshell, like I was saying earlier, children themselves are engaging in risky behaviors without knowing, simply because they don't have the knowledge. Adults are exposing children without knowing that they are exposing them online. So the education has to still go on. The education has to be brought down to the level where they get the knowledge even before they go online. So maybe at the age of 5, we should be talking to these young people what it means to be on the information superhighway, what constitutes their footprints and what happens to their footprints and all of that, so that we can save them the trouble of getting the shock of their lives in future.
Hector, you've heard all these. What are we, how do we keep them? Because for me, the scary part of all these things, there's no doubt children interacting online is necessary, and it's beneficial to them in many forms. But look at how they are interacting online. Look at how they're even getting out there, right? So even if you are there and there is a system that should protect you as a child, you're getting in there as an adult. You are a 12-year-old, but you're posing as a 27-year-old. You are 8, but you're posing as 20 years and all of that. How can we protect them, and what can we do to really get the truth out of them? Because I'm also aware from some of the discussions we had last week that, sometimes some of the children may want to navigate out of the so-called safe zones, right? That has been created for them, because probably they think that the bigger platform is a lot more interesting to engage on. And so how do we really create the safe spaces for them? And how do we get them to really understand the risks associated with the engagement online?
For me, I think adding to what I was said, and I'm in agreement with her 100%. As adults, we need to create that safe space for the young ones by talking to them from a young age, even before they start having access to the devices that are online. So if we do that, we start doing that from an early age, we are going to be inculcating in them the point about don't talk to strangers. Some years back, our parents would tell us don't talk to strangers when the internet wasn't so out there, or we're not online. Our parents would tell us do not talk to strangers. If a stranger gives you something, don't take it. That sort of thing. It still applies today. So if a child has a device and they get online, somebody might out of the blue just send them a message on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Instagram. Because I don't know the person, maybe the picture might look familiar, but I do not know the person. I'm not going to talk to the person. Aside making sure that we sort of like engage the kids in creating a safe space for them, we also need to supervise them in every area. We should not just give the device to them. We should not just allow them to find their way around the internet, because the internet is a vast place. We have the dark web, we have the dark net, and these days it's easy to get onto the internet. It's easy to get onto the web, because the tools that are needed to get onto all these bad places are easily available. Desmond would attest to this. Some years back, I couldn't just get onto the dark web just like that, just using the normal browser. I needed to go through several layers. I needed to hide myself. I needed to be very very skilled. But today, there are tools that are easily available on the internet. The applications, you can just install them, and then voila, you are on a part of the internet that you shouldn't be on. There are tools like applications that might be used for its intent is for educational purposes, but then the writers of these tools have found a way of using it to do things that are out of its normal operation. So when the kids have access to such applications or such services, then it becomes a way to get into your home or into their lives. Groomers are able to get into their lives. Malicious people are able to get into their lives. So for me, the second point is very key. We need to supervise them. Also, I think we also need to explain to them the dangers and then the repercussions of these services. So one of the young ones, I think it was either Ofuri or Sakani, was talking about not being on Facebook, but then he knew that Facebook has an account, has an account dedicated to him. Yes, that is true. Even though you might not have ever signed up on Facebook, there's a shadow account somewhere for you. And that's because of how the data is collected around. Data is collected from all services, from Google, from WhatsApp. And what these companies are basically doing is to churn out the data about people and then use it to their benefit. No matter what you do on Facebook, you might think that Facebook will tell you that you can go in there, set your privacy settings to a strict level, and nobody can get into your account, nobody can get your data. That is a lie. Facebook itself would have data on you because you are posting, you are turning on your location settings, you are tagging people, you are doing so many things that is making Facebook get data on you. So we need to explain it to them. We need to explain the terms and conditions to them. The terms and conditions are very long. They are huge. Even adults cannot read all that. But then we need to start spending time on reducing those terms and conditions to the salient points, the ones that everybody will understand, so that we know the dangers. I have this incident that had happened to me about a few months ago. So I walked into a supermarket, a shop. I went to get water, and that was the only thing I went to get because I was thirsty. I walked in, got the water, bottle of water. I used cash to pay. I didn't use my card. I got out of the shop. I got to the bus stop, and then I was scrolling on Facebook, and then I saw an advertisement of the water brand that I bought, the same thing. And there I was just looking at it, looking at the water, and it was the same thing. I was like, what happened here? I did not speak it out because I wasn't with anybody. I didn't speak it out. So somebody could say, okay, maybe you might have said something for Facebook to record you. No, I didn't. It was just a silent transaction until the time that I saw that there was this ad on my Facebook timeline. And I was shocked. That goes to tell you that Facebook, Google, all these online services are collecting so much data on us that you might turn on your strictest security settings, but then it would not protect you 100%. So that we need to be letting them know about the dangers of having to be on social media, having to be on the internet. The internet, they can use it for good things, study and all that, but then the dangers too are there that we should make them aware of. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Or maybe the technology is already in our heads, maybe they're reading our minds already. Yes. Desmond, I'm gonna come to you. I feel frustrated sometimes that we are not really able to, we can't really get the entire solution. And sometimes I wish we have it, especially when it comes to dealing with children. Hector is talking about parents, and we have to teach them. But we know very well that from where most of these children are, and I'll come to them for them to tell me themselves, they are way ahead of us. How many? So I see that there are maybe two or three types of parents. There are the parents that are technology savvy, that understand and know the nuances around it. There are parents that are not at all. And then, there are those of us that are in between, somewhere in the middle. We know, but we don't know. So what am I going to talk to them about if I'm not reading the terms and conditions and I don't even understand it? How am I going to engage with them? Is it an issue of getting somebody else or putting the obligation on the platform providers? Where should we start from?
Okay, thank you. This question have been posed to me before on a WhatsApp group which I belong, and my first answer was that it's a difficult question when you have the parents themselves not savvy about the subject. I mean, how do you educate somebody on something you don't know much about? It's a big deal. So when the parents themselves are not savvy of the issue, you don't expect them to give too much. But then I have a workaround to that. And my workaround is that as a community, we had to look at it beyond, our homes. So it goes into the schools, it goes into the churches, it goes as a national issue, it goes in as a continental issue, and it goes in as a worldwide issue. Of course, you are tempted to look at it in a three-pronged approach, and I agree with you to every extent. The individual themselves must be empowered, corporate must be empowered, and of course, government must also lead. So in terms of legislation, the standards and all that. And then for the corporates, you know, the concept of child online, CP by design, so that everything that you are developing, the service, the gadgets that you are coming up with, you know, from the onset should have those principles embedded in them. So does the device automatically filter access to maybe inappropriate content for children? Are you able to make your terms and conditions a bit more flexible to read? And also some of the technical features that are required. So for instance, privacy and security. I mean, for our users, how many of them know where the privacy settings for Facebook is? Because that's a very powerful tool. I mean, from where I sit, how many of them know that from a very young age, when you start using your WhatsApp, you can actually limit the people that can actually see your profile. You can actually limit those who can connect to you, who can add you to groups and all that. So the aspect of ensuring that the knowledge goes on, because I think it's about empowerment. At this point in time, I think it's about empowerment. I think it's about empowerment. So it's important that we put the various ends together, the individual acquiring the knowledge, as in the parents and the children using these platforms, because they are way ahead of the children are way ahead of the parents. I mean, the first time I heard of Shazam was because a child told me what Shazam is. The first time I heard of a house party was because a child told me what a house party is. And that was when I was having a presentation and explaining social media dangers for kids in one of the camps. And that's the first time I heard of a house party. And I came back and figured out that a house party could even be a worst case scenario than a WhatsApp, you know. But they were very excited about it and how it works and how easier it is for people to see them and connect to them. I go back to Ekte's point also. Listen, every single potential danger that you can have in the conventional physical world, you can have it in the electronic world. So I have a cliche, which is that your online behavior has offline consequences. So as much information as you're sharing about yourself online, there is a potential that if someone is telling you, there's a word for them, stalking, good. Yes, stalkers are able to stalk you better offline by getting information about you online, because you're posting about your school. So they know where you school. You're posting about church. You're posting about the birthday party you had. You're posting about the fact that you're about to sit in a flight heading to New York. You're posting the return of that flight. You're posting potentially your newborn sibling, brother, sister, and your mom in the hospital. And when your mom is coming out, every single part of your life, you're sharing with people online. And that is how the digital footprint is built. Whether the kids are sharing it themselves or it's the parents that are sharing it, the point we are trying to pass across here is it's a joint effort between the parents, the kids, the national point of view, and the corporate. Because if you are developing devices and you are selling and you're making profit, and we have issues with child online protection. Kids are being bullied online. They are being threatened with death. They are being stalked. Their identity is being stolen. If you're doing analysis with porn sites, if you're doing analysis with porn sites, you would even find out that there are pedophilic websites that have taken pictures, you know, very innocent pictures of babies that have been born by the posture. The pictures that have been taken about them, those who do the pregnancy, when they are pregnant, they take pictures. When they give birth, they take pictures. They share them online for the joy of it. You can see some of these things on these pedophilic websites, and they are being used, and people are drooling over these images. So, you know, incidentally, we are actually giving out the information that these predators need to do their work. And that is why it is important to ensure that we are passing on enough knowledge. And we couldn't have done a better engagement today without having all these experiences shared by the people who suffer these things themselves. So from where I sit, knowledge sharing is important. Yes, it's as important as the policy that the government will need to put in place. It's as important as the laws that we would want to promote that come into force. But what will be the use of these laws if the predators themselves are getting the information from their victims? So everything has to do with behavioral change, and that is not to say we should take them off the gadgets. I don't think I'm ever going to do that. They have to be on it, but they must be taught how to use them and how to use them securely. Like I said, there are features on these phones that allows them to put some of the most strict controls about their platforms until they come of age where they can control some of these things. And I think that with such an early behavior in doing that, it works with you when you grow. Because if you are not fan of opening up, there's no way when you've grown up and you're on your own, you are going to open up. So an early start like we are doing now, it's important. We must encourage them to walk the line. This is their generation. It's a digital life. I still believe that one of my children should take up AI. In fact, I have actually predicted my nephew is going to.
My friend, don't impose anything on anybody.
I am not.
Right.
I am not. I'm actually saying that it's
and if they
time.
Are listening, I'm telling them go the other way.
It is their time. It is their time. That's the point I'm making. It's just like all the conventional things we saw growing up. We were motivated to be those things. So we must allow them to enjoy their space.
Yeah, thank you so much, Desmond. We have just a few minutes left, and I want to go back to the children, starting with you, David. The last question I'm going to ask is what would you want, online? How would you want your online interaction to be like? We've spoken about you a lot today. You're on Facebook with an age that you shouldn't have been on. The first thing is that how do you want to interact, and how often do you talk to your parents around your interaction online? What would you want your online interaction to be like ideally? If you had your own way, what would you have preferred? Would you have preferred to go onto Facebook with your real age? And what are some of the things that you would rather, if it had been provided, it would have made your life easier online? I don't know whether you can understand me. David?
Yeah.
Did you understand me, or I need to make myself clearer?
Yeah, I don't understand, like.
What I'm trying to ask you is that you love being online, right?
Yes.
What do you think will make your being online safer and better and more enjoyable for you?
They conduct online survey to ask how you are going, like, is it good or not? Yeah, and those things.
So for instance, what would you want Facebook to give you so that it will make your interaction online more meaningful and safer? I know your account has been hacked before. What would you rather, would you have preferred to have had a platform that made it more secure for anybody to hack you?
So like I want Facebook to make it like more secure, because some people, all of a sudden, some white Indian men will just become your friends. All of a sudden, they'll start chatting you. Before you know, they'll just send some money before they release your account.
Okay, but then you see that maybe there's a problem there. You are there when you're not supposed to be there, right? So you're 12, yeah. And so you're not supposed to be there. But on Facebook, how old are you? You are 27.
He's 27.
You are 27 years on Facebook. So how then can we protect you? You know, is it that you would rather you have a place where you could really go and interact, but you know that it is safe? So maybe there's a Facebook platform for children your age. You know, would you prefer to join that than join the adults one?
Yeah, I prefer the children's phone.
You prefer the children's own to the adults' own. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Naki, let me come to you. What do you think, with all the conversation going on, your own experiences, what do you think can be done, you know, to make sure that children are safer online?
Okay, and as some social media platforms have ages where they think that the individual is able to take care of him or herself online, I think there should be strict measures, like measures put in place for the user to be comfortable online, avoid and to be able to avoid all this hacking and pedophiles, you know, that kind of thing. Until they are familiar with the internet, then they can be moved to maybe the more advanced platform or something like that. Yes, because it, as the age stands, let's say WhatsApp is using 16 years, and someone, for instance, I'm 16 and I'm using WhatsApp. I may not be really familiar with what goes on there, but then to them, you are 16, so you should be able to take care of yourself on the internet. And I think it doesn't work that way. There should be more rules, or the privacy settings should be a little bit different from what will be used for adults, or yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Team A, Queenly, Samuela, Emmanuel, and Gabriel.
Yes.
What do you want, you know, done for you to make your online interaction safer? You can, one of you can start and then you move to everyone else. Yeah.
I was thinking that, you know, kids are very curious, and it has to. The only way we can make online safer is when our parents are making effort to make us safe. Because if you are 12 years old and your mom or your dad has given you a phone and allows you to be on WhatsApp, on Facebook, or any other platform, it means they are really ready for what you will go through. Because I didn't start using phone at that age. I was like, I'll go to the internet, like cafe, and then browse there. That one is different. I started using phone in SS2. You see, so if our parents are going to be strict enough, or um, they'll start making us use phone when we have age, or even not that, they'll not allow us to go to certain platform like WhatsApp. Like you said, it's 16 years old. So if someone is 12 years old, when you give the phone to them, you allow them to just go on Facebook, on platforms, like they'll just have to use Google or anything instead of going on Facebook. Because the moment you start going there, you see all these kinds of things, and the only thing you can do is to just block them or anything. And when you are 12 years old, you don't have that mindset because you are so young. So you see.
So you think that parents are key. And what does Samuela think? And then Emmanuel and Gabriel.
And Miracle.
And Miracle, yes, Miracle. I forgot Miracle, yes.
Please, I think that parents need to have parental control.
Parental control. But you people, you're not telling us what you are doing. How do we control when we don't know? Are you talking to your parents about these things? Because that's really where it comes from. You know, how many of you, even those that have phone, have constant discussions with your parents about what you are doing online and your interaction? How often do you do that?
Actually, I have it with
Miracle, how
actually,
often do you,
please, I
you
have it
what?
with my brother.
You're what? Say that again.
Please, I have it with my brother.
You have discussions with your brother.
Yeah, so my brother doesn't allow me to go on Facebook.
Okay, how old is your brother?
22.
Okay, he's 22. So your brother supervises you. What about the rest that are there? Do you talk to an older person to guide you or navigate it? It's not just about stopping you from going to a particular place, but also guiding you on even how to use the internet correctly. Do you have any such support from home?
Yes. No.
Okay,
Yes.
who said yes and who said no?
Miracle. I said no.
So,
Miracle said
who Miracle? So what do you do? So how do you, when you have problems, who do you talk to?
my brother.
Your brother. How old is your brother?
22.
Your brother is 22. Okay, so you don't talk to you. Why is it that you don't talk to your parents about it, but your brother?
Because my father is not around.
Okay, your father is not around. What about your mother?
Please, she doesn't know how to use the computer and the phone.
She doesn't understand the so you just go and confuse her. So your brother helps you. At least you have a brother there. Who else doesn't have anybody to talk to? Is there anyone in Team A that doesn't have anyone to talk to?
Yeah.
Who is that?
Yes.
Who am I speaking with?
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel. So how do you learn, how, if you have problems online, who do you talk to if you can't talk to your parents or an older person?
My friends.
Your friends. Wow. Okay. Ofuri, I want to come to you. What do you think should be done to make children safer?
I think it's an interesting question because personally, from my experience, I feel safe on the internet because I've learned how to navigate it and how to navigate the more dangerous areas on the internet. And I feel I wouldn't have learned how to navigate properly if I wasn't allowed to go there in the first place. And in fact, I feel like when I compare my experience on the internet to my parents, I'm teaching them about how to be
Yeah.
and I feel much safer on the internet in general. And because I've been able to explore and been able to learn about the dangers, but also how to navigate them. And in that sense, when you learn how to navigate the dangerous sides, then it's like it all becomes safe in a way.
Wow, but if we are leaving you, and you know the internet is like the world, right? I'm not going to leave my crawling child outside to crawl in the streets. I create a safe space for them to crawl, you know, and learn and navigate. I understand giving children the space to explore, but don't you also think that it can be quite dangerous to have that free space to navigate whilst learning? Because it's not all the children that have it as safe as you. Don't you think so?
I guess it depends on what they're doing because I think generally kids online tend to be playing games, and I think that even they're just casual tips to know what to do online. I think this was shown in the video before where there's some, you shouldn't post incriminating pictures of yourself. And these are just things that and quite easy to understand, that if I post a picture of myself, like a nude picture, like it will never be deleted from the internet. And that's something I understand because I've been told that, and because it's happened before on the internet and I've seen it happen to other people. And I think if we explain the things not to do, then you can allow them to be in those spaces, knowing that they know what not to do and what to do.
I thank you so much. I know there's been Femi, you've been making a lot of comments. You know, if there are any questions, I think I'll just take one from the participants. But Femi, what do you make of all these things that we are hearing? Just a few words, and then I'll probably, if there's a question, we'll respond to it. Then I'll go to the closing remarks from the experts. Femi, what do you make of all of this?
Am I online?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Hi, so thank you. This is can I just commend you all, because this is fantastic that we have a session like this that really focuses on young people. It doesn't happen often, and it's great that they are given center stage. Of course, they're protected, rightly so we're not seeing them. But you know what I hear, and the variety of abilities, there's a variety of experiences and so on. But the thing that I'm curious to know from, you know, all the young persons on the call is, to what extent do they see their data as having real value? You know, is this something that they see as flippant, or do they understand that their data is really the lifeblood of the technologies that are out there? And we have companies making literally billions of dollars off your data. And perhaps if we understood that in real terms, if all of us, not just young persons, definitely adults, more so adults, but equally, at the very least equally, would they look at how they share their data differently? Because I think this is an important question, not just, I mean, now with the game is different, because the power is obviously with companies that have amassed fortunes over, you know, the last few decades. But going forward, and in Africa's position in particular, where the technology is there, but it's still quite nascent. And, you know, we're the youngest nation on the planet, you know. I think mean age for Africa is 18 years old. So we're going to have a generation in the next 15, 20 years where everybody is consuming this so much. Do the young persons see that they have a stake in how things should be developed? And if they do, can they perhaps revisit how they use their data?
Okay. Desmond, thank you, Femi. I would probably let Awo answer your question because I've already taken some final. She talks to children a lot, so I will try to find out whether they understand or what the value of their data is. Okay, Desmond, are there questions from Facebook? Desmond, I see you sharing a screen. Is that our...
That's from Facebook.
Yes. That's from Facebook. Okay,
yes.
Can you kindly just, which one is that? Facebook is not for kids. Why are parents allowing their children to get on Facebook? Okay, that's a comment. Can you quickly go through it for us?
And then, okay, so that's for that. I think the rest are messages from the participants chat. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, messages from the participants chat.
So whilst you're flipping through, let me get to Awo. Femi was asking the question. And I really wish we could go around. Probably we need to really have a whole session with children on data and how they perceive it and all of that. But do you think children generally have a sense of, what their data means, the value of their data? And when you finish with that, I just want you to put in your concluding remarks around where do we start. You have always focused on educating the children, which I really support, because I think it's the most important, especially when we are lost as parents, right? We really need somebody out there to help them navigate. So what is your organization really doing with children online, and how do we get more children to benefit from the digital literacy programs that you have?
Right. The question as to, with regards to privacy, Teki, adults are found wanting, and I am not sure we have built that lifestyle in some children. But those of them who have gone through literacy programs like digital intelligence, every child know very well that their personal data is key. And I told you the last time, one of my boys does not like to take photos because he simply does not want his data to be out there. So you are not supposed to mention his name on anything or in any document and stuff like that. And like Sekani has also said, you could see that he's very conscious of his data. So there are few of them who are mindful of what they do with their data or what somebody does with their data. But in terms of the data, sometimes the data is inferred. So you don't intend sharing it, but then you might have done something on another platform and then it's taken from there. So those are things that maybe we should be tightening along the line and get things going. You did make a statement that you alluded to the fact that children know more than adults. Yes, I agree with you, they know more than adults. But what I want to say, psychologically, they don't have the resilience. So it is still necessary for us adults, no matter how dull we might feel in terms of interaction with technology, we need to read and update them, communicate with them. I don't think it'll be difficult for us to make that commitment or that sacrifice for the children. So it's important we do that. We need to take off that thinking that, oh, they know already, so we are helpless and all of, no, we can still do a lot to helping them. And for those who are curious to be on Facebook, Messenger Kids is there for the under 12. I think it's for 8 to 12-year-old, but then this is controlled by the parents' profile. So your parents will know who you are connecting with and all of that. So Messenger Kids is now available for them if they badly want to be on Facebook or get connected in one way or the other. It's also time for us to start asking service providers what options they have available to us. For instance, if I use a service provider A, I should be able to ask for anti-spam platforms activated on my devices for the children so that we can be sure that we're doing the right thing. And we also need to show them where to report. Reporting incidents is key to resolving most of the issues we face online. If they don't know where to report or whom to report to, then that will make them become helpless as well. So one of the ways to get them to do that is to show them where to report, how to report. And the service center mandate should also be sensitive to the needs of the child so that when a call comes in and the child is saying something, they'll be able to relate and provide the right information. Supervision, we can't do without. It's important we supervise them. We could also limit access because overuse of everything, it's bad. In terms of what we're doing for digital literacy for young people, it will interest you to know that most parents are even not ready to use data for their children, right? So you are providing them with what we call digital intelligence, every child, and a parent is asking you to give them data for the child to access the program. But if we all take it more like a shared responsibility in getting our children empowered, it should not be difficult for us to pay for data while someone is providing the platform for them to learn the requisite skills they require in this 21st century. So as much as possible, I would like to encourage parents to be involved, to be interested in what their children are doing online. And let's not give up on them or say that they know a lot. They know, but they don't have the resilience. And it will take us to build that in them so they become good citizens in the space. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you. Desmond, concluding remarks, just a quick one because we've exceeded our time. You know, what would you say we can do to make the children safer? You've heard from them. I don't think parents currently are doing enough when it comes to online child protection. So who will have to step in? Because somebody has to parent anyway, because these are children. So where do we start from? Desmond? I see you sharing a screen. Okay, Hector, let me come to you whilst, okay, Desmond is sharing his screen. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so yeah, so I as usual, I want to end with something practical, but I also want to touch on the fact that the issue of the parents allowing the kids to use some of these platforms with or without knowledge at an age where they are not supposed to is akin to allowing them to probably take up other vices like smoking or any other conventional habits that you wouldn't want them to have. So I still believe that the parents are equally required to show some sort of commitment, no matter what. We cannot assume the ignorance and then allow that to run. Having said that, I also want the kids on the call and those watching to know that at least now that they are on these platforms and they are engaging, there's a little bit of power in their hands as to what they can do. What you're seeing on the screen is Facebook's own privacy settings. When you go to privacy and when you go to the settings and privacy, you get these features and it's quite interesting. Let's start off by who sees you. So I'm just, because there's not much time, I'll focus down here. So how people find and contact you, who can send you friend requests. In my case, friends of friends. I don't know about you. If you say public, then everybody is going to send you friends requests. And so the malams are going to send you friends requests. Who can see your friends list? I say only my friends. If you go in here and your default is public, then it means the malam will still see your friends list. The pedophile will see your friends list. Let's make things a bit difficult. At least let them be friends first before they can see things around us. And that means we are going to evaluate who becomes our friend. The next one I want you to also have in mind is who can look you up using their email address that you have provided in setting up. Make sure it's only you. Do the same for your phone number. Make sure it's only you. And then finally, don't allow search engines to search on you. I think this is the little nuggets I can leave for you because I've seen a lot of you are on Facebook. On WhatsApp, it's quite easy. Also in the settings, check who can view your status, who you want to add, who can add you to groups, etc., etc. And take the security privacy into your hands. You are not going to go off this platform anytime now, and security is not going to leave you alone. I believe that with enough knowledge, enough skill at your fingertips, you could navigate all these issues. At least you could navigate these issues.
Thank you. Last but not the least, Hector.
So
what
quickly,
should we take home?
Yeah, so quickly from a security point of view, there are so many dangers. You do not want to be online and then clicking on links that would download bad things like malware or viruses, which could do so much damage to you. These viruses could end up recording your activities, turn on your camera, turn on your mic, do things to you that would now impact on your privacy. So it's key that both parents and then the children are putting in place safeguards that would prevent such issues from happening. Like Desmond said, for both parents and children, our privacy and security is in our hands. It's not in our anybody else's hand. Facebook cannot do that for you. Google cannot do that for you. But then the biggest chunk of responsibility will go to the parent. You do not want your armed robbers or bad people to track you to your house because your location setting was turned on and that gave them that information. So it's very, very important that parents continue to do the supervision. They continue to speak to their kids. They continue to encourage their kids to also speak to them on everything and anything. Yeah, so that is, for me, that is the little bit of nuggets.
Wow, thank you so much. I still feel that we've only scratched a little bit of the surface. We didn't even touch on education, their use, their interaction online with education and all of that. So there has to be a part 2 to this as well, and possibly a part 3 and more.
Teki, Femi's hand is up, right?
Okay.
Yes,
Femi, do you want to say something?
Sorry, in fact, it was more an appeal. If you would give a sample to some of the young people to have a last word.
Yes, I tried to do the last word with them earlier. But yeah, it would be nice to maybe do a quick round because our time is fast spent. I will start with Team A. So are you all set? Mention your name once more. Gabriel, Samuela, Emmanuel, Miracle, Quinley. I'll start with you. Quickly come in and give us your final words, something you want us, your parents, or anybody else to take home with us so that we can finish this quickly. We can't hear you. Get closer to the microphone, please. Your final words for us.
My name is Miracle.
Yes, Miracle.
Please, the terms and conditions. Did you read it?
Did I read it? I've tried to read some, not all of them. Because of my work, I have to read it.
Thank you.
Okay, so Miracle is saying I should read my terms and conditions. So we'll try. Maybe it means that we need to get children more children-friendly standards and terms and conditions that they can understand. Is Samuela still there?
Yes.
What will be your parting words? We're just about closing. So what are the last things you want to tell us?
I want to engage everybody that they should tell their parents about what they do on Facebook and Instagram, all those stuff.
Okay, thank you. So Quinley is saying children should be more transparent and open with their parents. And I agree with that. That's the only way that, when the bad guys are also coming, you can get your parents to protect you. So for the children that are listening out there, that's one thing you really need to do. Even if your parents don't understand much about what happens online, I'm sure that they still have the obligation and to protect you, and they are the only ones that can do it better than anybody else. So try and talk to them about your experiences. Miracle.
Yes.
Oh, Miracle spoke. Okay, so Queenly.
Just as you said, I think our parents should be able to communicate more with us, or we the kids, we should be able to tell more to our parents about what we do, and when someone is trying to take advantage of us or anything, we should be the one to tell them. Probably they don't even know we are on those platforms. So yeah, so everyone out there, please tell your parents about what you do.
Okay, Queenly is asking children to be more transparent, but she's also asking parents to also talk to them. You know, I think that in our part of the world, a lot of the time we liked, some of us parents like to, what do we say? Do as I say, not as I do, right? We always give instructions without necessarily talking to them. So we should be talking to our children a bit more. Gabriel, I know you said you are not online, but I'm going to catch you at the right time to tell me how you interact online, because I know you are there. What do you think of all these discussions? What, if you have any advice to children, what would you say? Will you advise all of them to stay offline? Gabriel. Gabriel. Is Gabriel there? Okay, what about Emmanuel?
Yes, please.
Okay, so what are your final words? What would you want us to leave here with today? I can't seem to hear you, sorry. Yeah.
Respect our parents.
Say that again.
Respect our parents.
Okay, Gabriel says we should respect your parents and then we should listen to our parents when they are advising us. David, so I'm leaving Team A now. Thank you guys. David, what would you like to finally say to everybody listening to you this evening?
I want to tell them they should be careful with people they befriend on social media.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Naki, last but not the least, give us your parting words.
I think this was very educative. I learned a lot myself, and I definitely think there should be a part 2 of this. And I think it's high time we took education seriously, especially about IT and cybersecurity, because to some parents and to some people, when they hear that, oh, this person is into IT, then automatically he can fix phone, he can fix laptop, you know, that kind of thing. But they don't know that it goes far beyond that. So I think education, we should be educated on this. It should
Thank you.
be everywhere in schools and others, so that we can get the whole situation right and not endanger ourselves. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think Naki couldn't have said it better. And that's what we are trying to do. As closing remarks, I just want to thank everyone, Ofuri, Sakani, Femi that joined us, David, Naki, Samuela, Emanuela, Quinley, Gabriel, who am I missing? Miracle, and Emmanuel, and everyone that was able to join us, especially our speakers and our contributors, our experts. I will thank you very much. Thank you, Hector. Thank you, Desmond. Definitely there has to be, because we just scratched the surface. We will try as much as possible to get a few other kids on the next round to look deeper. We just scratched the surface. There's so much to discuss. And I want to thank the ADRH team and ISA, Information Security Architects, and Child Online Protection Africa for bringing this program, putting this program together. Thank you all and have a good evening. I believe next Friday, we will be talking to techies about cybersecurity and data protection. So make it a date and join us. Thank you and have a good evening. Bye from us for now. Bye-bye.